Hi, this is Paul. I thought I'd do a little cosmic encounter power placement of Eon's powers during the setup and a challenge during a game. And I don't know, I just quickly wrote some stuff down here. Just you could imagine if there were 75 aliens all attacking, having, or not all attacking, but all having hexes and going at each other, and what kind of chaos would be there. But so at the setup, when you're setting up the game, Aristocrat would be picking his own hand out of the deck. Aura would be having everybody reveal their hands face up except for his. Doppelganger, I don't know if I spelled that right. They spell them two different ways in here. Doppelgangers would be throwing away his challenge cards out of his hand after he got his first hand. Dragon would be getting 4 extra lucre. Mesmer, the edicts in his hand, he'd be altering them right away if he wanted to. Miser would get his second hand. Terrorist would be planting bombs. If there was 75 aliens playing at the same time, he'd have 75 bombs he'd be placing on the hexes. Warpish would be setting his tokens up around the warp as his home system, the outer warp. And Worm would be arranging his tokens with as many tokens on each planet as he wished. He's moving the cone around a lot and stuff when he's playing. On a turn, that's for the setup for it. Now for the turn, you get 2 challenges if you win the first challenge. And there's Machine coming in there where as long as Machine has compromise cards in his hand, he can keep challenging, win or lose. And the challenge steps, you get your first challenge only. You get 1 lookery and you get a new hand if the offense gets a new hand if he's out of compromise cards. And Extortionist is coming in there and taking half a cut of the cards that he's getting. Silencer is busy mutating 1 player for the challenge. You get your warp token. I don't have anything that's really affecting that. May buy tokens out of the warp, while Dragon's getting the spent lookery if you do that. Flip the destiny pile. Well, as you've seen before, Assassin would execute a token somewhere of that color anywhere in the game, and he'd pick. Dictator would tell you what color the disc was, even though you can look at it and see what it is. He'd tell you what it was. Disease, if he had tokens on another planet, he could spread. If he had tokens 3 or more on 1 planet, he could spread to another planet there. Plant, and he's borrowing powers of other players if he has a base on that flipped token, large flipped Destiny Pile disc. Siren's luring the offensive player to become the defense and try to get a base from that. If he wins, he gets a base. And Will doesn't even need the Destiny Pile. He's challenging anyone, anywhere before the Destiny Pile is flipped. And then you get to point the cone at a planet or moon. Butler, when he's in the game, he's going to be, if he doesn't get paid, he's going to say what planet or moon that you're going to be attacking. This is kind of the, I got a Changeling doing the power swap. This is kind of like what we've determined that it's a defensive, if it's like a defensive planet challenge, if he feeds the defense or whatever. Force is listening for someone that's crying for help, and Hertz has his leased resources that he can lease out for lucre. Insect be copying the other person's power if they're going against them. Judge could have win-lose terms for the winner or loser of the challenge. And Sniveler The older rules for Sniveler, he could be whining about a whole bunch of stuff, bases or cards or whatever, blah blah blah. But for me, I changed Sniveler to just if he can if he gets down to just compromise cards and non-challenge cards, he can get a new hand. Defense gets a new hand if out of challenge cards. So, Aristocrat, when he's the defense, he can draw a flare from the unused flare deck. Boomerang could challenge the offensive player before he challenges him. Extortionist gets a half cut of cards again. Cards are coming out. And Mutant, when he's a defensive player, he rounds out his hand to 7 cards. And we get to the mains. Main players may buy up to 1 to 4 cards again. Dragon's taking the Lucre. Extortionist is taking half the cards, and I got Mutant down there again, but he's filling out his hand again to 7 cards at some point if he's the offense or defense, as long as he has challenge cards, not in the defensive case. You want to pause? I abbreviated stuff here so I could fit things in. Then the next step would be placing 1 to 4 tokens in the cone for the offensive player. At that point, assessor would be assessing their cone tax. It's tokens in the first game, Eon game, but when Lucre came in, I'm just having him tax the use of the cone with Lucre, 1 Lucre. Butlers, token selection, that's the other. It's one or the other. It's the cone placement or token selection if Butler doesn't get tipped for doing all the activities for the offensive player. And then that's where Macron is only supposed to put 1 token in, but I have him put 1 to 4, but I thought I'd put that in there just because it's there from the original. It's a little bouncy, sorry about that. With allies, Crystal says if someone's going to ally, how many tokens they're going to ally with. Delegators going to swap a main and ally around if there's an ally in there. Grudge looks for revenge if he has asks a player to ally and they don't, and Grudge wins, then that player loses 4 tokens to the warp. Magnet can force 1 player to ally or not with one side, and Parasite just can ally at will. You've seen that one before when I played him. And then the next thing coming up is to play a challenge card. And at this point, when challenge cards are played, Amoeba can move his tokens around before the challenge cards are revealed. Demon could swap with the offensive player with just their tokens. Deuce plays a side card down. Challenge cards, you got 2 challenge cards down. Doppelganger borrows cards, challenge cards to play, because he doesn't have any in his hand. He tosses them when he gets them. Laser's random challenge card from opponent's hand. You've seen that one when we've played it. It's a random draw. Loser could call an upset where the winner loses and the loser wins. That's before cards are played. Mine gets to look at another player's hand, and that's before cards are played. Negator can, for another player, he can say you got to make another decision. You got to reverse that decision that you made. Oracle, you've seen this one. Opponents face up challenge card when they play their challenge card instead of face down. Philanthropist can give a main player a card from his hand. Pirate can do his pirate raid before cards are played. Prophet can predict the winner to get some benefits, to get a base or lose tokens if he's wrong. And it's before cards are played. Seeker can ask a yes or no question to the main before cards are played. One of the main players. Skeptics can do a doubt. It's a doubling of lost tokens, or it's an additional token loss for the loser. That's before cards are played. Sorcerer can swap challenge cards with his opponent. Trader can swap hands with his opponent. That's before cards are played. Visionary, he can force a challenge card played by his opponent by just mentioning a specific challenge card. If he has it in his hand, he has to play it. And then Rack, I don't really play with. It's dealing with deals, but he has a tortured deal that can cause if the other player doesn't deal. If he does want to do his torture deal, he's removing tokens and cards from the other player per the number of tokens he has. And that's before cards are played. And yeah, and then we have revealing the cards. Well, after the reveal, Kronos can do a second. He can replay the challenge by having his opponent set his card aside, so he can't play that card. Everybody plays again with another card. Diplomat can force a three-way deal with the two main players. Empath can change his opponent's attack to a compromise card if he plays a compromise card, if Empath plays a compromise card. Gambler can bluff about what card he played, and there's consequences for that. And Pacifist wins on his, if he plays a compromise and an attack card is played by his opponent. And then we have the determining outcome. I gotta back up a little bit. Right above there I have losers, winner loses, and loser wins. That's he could declare the outcome there. Or not at that point, but that would change the outcome of the game, of the challenge. And this is during attack versus attack, where how everything plays out with that one. So antimatter comes into play there, where it's a lower total wins and negative tokens on his part and allies. Calculators reducing an attack card by either himself or his opponent. Macron has his one token that's worth 4. Virus has the multiplication instead of adding attacks and tokens together. Warpish uses other players' warp tokens in the warp to add to his total. And Warrior, he has experience points that are added to the total. And the other ones I really don't have. I just have the basic stuff we know already. And then winning offensive player gets base. Well, with Filth, if Filth is a defense, the planet has to get fumigated before anyone can take the base. So it leaves an empty planet. I'm going to pause. And the same with that one. Warrior gets one experience point if he wins. I threw that in there. And then winning defensive player gets the offensive ally. Filth accommodates his own offensive ally with a different planet. That's why that's on there. And then for consolation, or for defensive ally rewards, Extortionate still gets half a cut of those cards. That's what he's on there for. Losing players' tokens go to warp, so Bully gets to select which tokens are lost. Fungus attaches those tokens to the bottom of his tokens. We've seen that. Healer can cure those lost tokens, send them back for a card from the deck. Lloyd can ensure token loss. Reincarnator gets a new power when he loses. Vacuum, you've seen that one, and other people go to the warp with Vacuum. And Void, you've seen that one where the tokens are removed from the game. Warrior loses, he gets 2 experience points built up into his experience points. But Witch, I don't use, can cast a spell that'll last like 2 challenges. In Zombies, tokens don't go to warp, so they go back to his bases. For consolation, Ethic gets consolation for losing with an attack card. Extortionist, again, there's cards involved here, so he gets half the cut of cards. I'm kind of getting repetitive on some of that stuff. Play challenge and edict cards go to the discard pile. So Clone's play challenge card he can pick up. Filch's opponent's challenge card he can pick up, so they're kind of opposites. And then Vulch can collect other people's discarded edicts. And then just the rest of this. If O wins, what happens? If blah, 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 blah. And at the end I have, if the player gets 5 outer bases, he wins the game, while Schizoid changes the number of bases and one other factor for the game win. So I throw him there. I think that's it for this. I don't know. I went through that really fast. I don't know if that's going to help or anything, but that's it.